Hello everyone, welcome to 3722 class. This is chapter 6. In this chapter, we're going to look at how to use SQL to update data. The objectives of this chapter includes, first of all, we're going to create a new table which is for testing purpose. The data will be imported to this new data table from an existing table. We're going to look at how to use the following commands to update data in this testing table. Basically, we're going to look at the following command. To change the data, we're going to look at how to use the update command. To insert new data into the table, we're going to use the insert command. And to delete a data entry or a record from the table, we can use the delete command. And then we're going to learn how to use the null values in the update commands. And we're going to also learn how to change the structure of the existing table. Sometimes you will encounter a lot of updates or operations in a table. And then in order to prevent mistakes or to prevent interactions by multiple users to a table, database has a concept is called transaction. We're going to use two commands for this purpose in order to control the transaction. One is called commit, the other is called rollback. So these two commands will help you to control the transactions and submit transactions to the database. Finally, we're going to look at how to drop a table. To practice the update commands inside this chapter, we're going to first of all create a new table using the data of an existing table. So basically, we have learned how to do that. You're going to use the create table command to do that. So this will create a new table, which is an empty table. After that, you're going to use the insert command and in combination with the select command to import some of the data from another existing table into this new table. We're going to create a table is called a level 1 customer. It's just a special customer table, which has a similar structure with our original customer table. It has the following attributes. First of all, it has the customer number, which is a car3 and is a primary key. It's a unique number to identify each customer. We also have a customer name, which is car35. We also have a balance, which is decimal 82. So probably you understand how to use the decimal. So 8 means their total digit you can store for this attribute, and 2 means after the precision point you have up to 2 digits. So that's a decimal 82. Same for the credit limit is also decimal 82. Finally, there is a rep number, which is a reference number to the rep table. It's car2. So this is basically a very easy table structure for level 1 customer. After you create a level 1 customer, it should be an empty table. If you do a select star from level 1 customer, you will see nothing in it. So after that, we're going to insert some data into the level 1 customer table. We're going to use the insert command to insert data into level 1 customer. And here, the little bit special here is rather than specifically insert new tuple into the level 1 customer table, we can select the data from a different table and then import it into the level 1 customer. So basically, you can use insert into level 1 customer, and then in combination, you can immediately type select. Okay, you select the attribute, these attribute number, name, balance, credit limit, and rep number, which is the same as the structure of the level 1 custom table, from a different table, which is a customer table. So this is the original table. We have the data, and where the condition of selection is credit limit equals to 7,500. So only the customers with credit limit equals to 7,500, we're going to select them and insert them into the level 1 custom table. After click on the Run button, you'll see in the result panel, it says 6 rows has been inserted. So this query has been successfully executed, and 6 rows from the customer table has been selected and inserted into the level 1 customer table. Until now, you should have a level 1 customer table with 6 records in it. So this table can be used for our practice purpose in this chapter. We're going to practice the update commands to the level 1 customer table in this chapter. So basically, we're going to try to update some data according to our purpose. The update command is working with the condition on it. This condition has the something familiar with the where condition in the select query. So basically, in the where clause, you can define simple or compound condition. So this condition will be applied to the table. It will tell the database that only the record in the table satisfying this condition will be applied an update. The command format for update is the following. So first of all, you're going to type update, and then you type the name of the table. After that, you're going to type a set. Set will tell the database that for a name of the column, and then there is an equal sign, and there is a new value. So this will tell the database that for this column, I will set it to this new value. And where the record we can apply the command, the update command, is using the condition, which can be either simple or compound condition in the where clause. So which is pretty much the same as the select from where. That where condition is the same where condition in update command that helps us to locate which record you can update. Here is one example. In this example, we're going to update in level 1 customer table. We're going to set one of the customer's name to a new value, and I'm not going to apply the update to all the record, but I'm going to update only one record, which is custom number equals to 796. So for this customer, we're going to apply a change. The change will be defined in a set clause. It says the customer name for this column that will be equal to a new value, which is a unique gifts and toys. So after that, don't forget to type a semicolon, which is the end of the SQL query. So when you execute this query, click on the Run button, and then you can see there one row updated. So that means that the database will find in level 1 customer. It said that, okay, for this customer, level 1, which is 796 for this customer, I'm going to update the customer name equals to this new value. Okay, so that's the purpose for the update. So you can see the update command is pretty much the same as the select from where, but here we just use it for updating data, and the where is a similar condition in the select from where query. In the second example, we're going to use the compound condition. So you can see here, I'm still going to update the level 1 customer table, and then we're going to set the credit limit to a new value, which is 8,000. And where we're going to apply the update is in the where clause. So you can see here we have the rep number equals to 45 and balance greater than 2,000. So only for the customers in the level 1 custom table who is served by the representative 45 and also has a balance greater than 2,000, those customers, their credit limit will be set to this new value, 8,000. So when you execute this command, it will say one row has been updated.
Next, we can practice how to add new data or new rows to an existing table. We're going to use the insert command to insert additional data to this table. After that, you can use the select command to verify to see if the rows has been added correctly. So the command is very easy. We can use the insert into and table name. So if you can recall in chapter 3 when we talk about insert into command, if you do not type any attribute name after the level 1 customer table, but just the type like this table name without any attribute name, then you can type the values and then list all the values for each one of the attributes inside the level 1 custom table. And the value must follow the same order as the table structure. So here we have the custom number is 907, the name, and there is 2 numbers. So this is the balance and the credit limit, and then the rep number. One interesting thing here I want to emphasize is inside the customer's name, there is a special string here, which is Glenn's. And you're going to see there are 2 single quotations right here. And here, the single quotations, there are 2 of them. So let us to think about what does this mean. Okay, first of all, the first single quotation, we call it a escape. The second is actually just a single quotation sign. The reason is we want to type, the real string we want to type is Glenn's British toys. Okay. If you directly type this inside a pair of single quotation, then when database is trying to evaluate the string, database will think, okay, so this is the string, it will start to read the first single quotation and then start to reading. Until it reads the second single quotation, it was thinking, okay, this is the end of the string. However, we still have some other characters after this single quotation. Therefore, we have to use 2 single quotations. Okay, so the first single quotation will be an escape, and second single quotation here will be the real single quotations symbol. And then if database see there are 2 single quotations here, it will say, okay, this is the first is the escape, second is just a string, is a character. Okay, and then it will continue to read until it reads the second single quotation. That's the end of the string. Okay, so this phenomenon here, the string here, is just a special format because inside the single quotation you want to add another single quotation character here. You need to put another one here, and the first one is called escape. Second one is actually a character. All right. So after that, don't forget the semicolon, and then execute, and then you can see 1 row has been inserted, and then this record has been successfully inserted into your level 1 customer table. In a database working environment, there are often a lot of situations that many customers are connecting to the database and trying to change to a table. There is a very high probability that multiple users will editing on the same table. And if some users editing on table, but also another user is also editing on it. And if something happened in the middle, if the one user made several changes, but one of them is not executed, this will produce some errors on the data. So this will make a trouble for the database administrator, DBA, in the long run. Therefore, in the database design, we introduced the concept is called transaction. transaction will help the DBA to maintain the data, to make sure the change on the data, the update on data will be done correctly. And the modern database system has implemented some mechanism to make sure that the transactions will be done correctly. So let's look at what is a transaction. A transaction is actually a logical unit of work. Okay, so you can consider that a user may have a sequence of steps when changing to a table. For example, the user can have a read to a table, and then a write to another table, another read to a table, another write to a table, and it goes on, goes on. And the entire sequence is actually a transaction. Okay, so this is actually a logical unit of work. Okay, you can consider this one as one transaction. And in modern database design, the system will make sure that either the entire sequence is completed successfully or nothing has been done. Okay, so either this entire transaction is done as one operation or no operation has been done on the data. So in order to, this is because if we can make sure that this one is implemented, either the entire transaction has been implemented or nothing has been done. If we can do this, this will prevent to produce any damaged data if some parts of the transaction it has a mistake or it has a failure in it. In order to make the transaction, to control the transaction, to implement this, we have two commands to do to help to control the transaction. One is called commit, one is called the rollback. Commit is to make sure that all the change is saved permanently to a database. Okay, and rollback means to if there is anything wrong, failure in a transaction, we can always use this rollback command to revert all the changes. In the figure on this slide, you can see there is a picture. Okay, so on the left-hand side, this mimics a transaction. So this is the start of a transaction. There is operation 1, operation 2, and goes on, operation n. If everything works correctly, and then when you finish the operation n, the last operation in the transaction, you will always make a commit. This will save all the changes to the database inside the transaction. So that makes the change inside this transaction permanent. In the right-hand side, this mimics in a situation, for example, the number 2 operation has a failure when the transaction is executed, so we will always issue a rollback command. So the rollback command will make sure that all the change will be reverted inside the database. So basically, if you look at the timeline of, this is the timeline of the user. For example, this is your beginning of your session. If some point, this is your current point. If you have not made any commit in the beginning of from the beginning of login session to a database until now, and if you make a rollback, this will roll back to the beginning of this session. If in the middle sometime you have made a commit, let's see here, this is the time you made a commit before, after you log into the database. Sorry. And then if you make a rollback, this can only roll back to your last commit. So this, if you have a commit somewhere after you you log into the section, which is the latest commit you have, And if you make a rollback, this will only roll back to your very last commit, the very last commit. Okay, so this is the commit and rollback, commit and rollback. To make sure the transaction control can be used, we have to understand there is a special transaction mode. It's called auto commit. The default transaction mode inside our Oracle database is auto commit, and it's set to be on. So that means any change you made to the database, any step inside your transaction, any operations made change to the data will be automatically saved. So that means there's no transaction control if the auto commit mode is on. Okay, it has two modes. There's on, there's off, and on is default. In order to make sure the transaction control is working, you need to first of all set the auto commit mode to off. And then when this auto commit mode is off, that means all the operations inside your transaction will be only temporary. Okay, so then if everything is done correctly, you can make a commit, okay, during your transaction. And then if something happened during the transaction is not executed properly, or there's a failure in any one of the operation, you can always make a rollback. So in order to use the transaction control, you need to turn the auto commit mode off. So how to do that? In the SQL command is using this command, set auto commit off semicolon. So this command will set the auto commit mode to be off, and then you can use transaction control. Okay, so be very, very careful. If you do not set this auto commit mode to be off, and there's no use if you use commit or rollback. There's no usage for them. Okay, so in order to use transaction control, you need to first of all make sure that the auto commit is set to be off. So if you made the auto commit to be off, then all the updates inside your transaction will be only temporary. And if everything works perfectly, you can just make a commit. And then all the updates will be permanent, made permanent, saved to the database. If something happened, you can always do a rollback. So all the changes will be reverted to the last commit command or in the current work session. Okay? And one more thing, I want to emphasize that commit and rollback only reverse the change made to the data side. The later part of this chapter, we're going to talk about the change to the data table structure. Rollback commit cannot affect the table structure change. In fact, all the changes to the table structure will be made permanent immediately. So only the changes on the data, we can use rollback to revert them if they're not commit yet. And once more, because this commit will save all the changes permanent, running a rollback after commit, immediately after commit, cannot reverse the update because those has been saved permanently. So let's practice how to use the commit and rollback for transaction control. In order to do that, you can either first of all type the command in SQL. Let's say just type the command set auto commit off semicolon. So then you're going to see that auto commit is turned off. Or if you're using the SQL developer or any connector to the Oracle database, there is a auto commit checkbox here. Make sure you uncheck this checkbox. Okay, so this checkbox unchecked, that means auto commit is off. First of all, let's make a change to the data. We can use the update command, which is very easy. So let's update the level 1 custom table. Let's say we change the custom name to Cricket Toy Shop for the customer whose number is 665, sorry. And then you can see after running it, it says the one row has been updated. So we have changed the customer to 665 to the Cricket Toy Shop. And then we can also practice to delete data from a database. Delete command is very easy. So you just type the delete and then just type from which table you're going to delete data, and there is a where clause. So a where clause is basically telling the database which record you want to delete. So you can use either simple condition or compound condition, same as the select from where. And only the rows satisfying the condition will be deleted. Here, I want to emphasize this one. If there's no condition defined, if you do not have a where clause, just say you delete from a table, there is no where condition, then all the rows will be deleted. So this will be very dangerous. Okay, so that means you're going to delete all the data in that table if you don't have a where clause, where condition. So be careful when you use this one. And then make sure the auto commit is also off. So then we can just type a delete command, delete from level 1 customer, where custom number is equals to 893. And then we can delete this customer from the level 1 custom table. And it says one row has been deleted. So we have done two operations. One is change to data, and second is delete a record. So the two operations will change data to the level 1 customer table. And for example, imagine this two operation is a mistake in a person's transaction. So, and this person mistakenly ran the two operations. So a data has been changed, a record has been changed, and also another record has been dropped, has been deleted. Okay, so how can we make sure to revert all the changes? Since we have not made any commit, we also turned the auto commit mode to be off. So here we can use the rollback command. So type the rollback command is very easy. Just type rollback semicolon, and then you can see the data will be, it will say that the data has been reverted, rollbacked. And then after that, you just type this command, select star from level 1 customer, and then you look at the picture. So the data has been changed to the original data. So remember, our first command is change the customer name to Cricket's Toy Shop. Right now it's reverted to the original data, which is gift shop, Cricket gift shop. And also you can see the customer has been just deleted, 893 has come back to the table. So the deleted table has been reinstated. And you can see that using the commit and rollback, you can control the transaction. And if everything works fine, you can just commit all the changes after your transaction. If there is something wrong, you can always use the rollback command to revert all the changes.